Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam Jennings coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. And today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite historical figures, Theodore Roosevelt. And that's the 26th President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt. The guy who an assassination attempt was made on his life before he was, going to give a speech trying to get reelected as president, and he was shot, and he actually had the bullet in him while he was giving his speech, and he ended up going to the hospital and, having care given to him, but that bullet was in him. I mean, an assassination attempt was made on his life, like, just mere minutes before he started that speech. It was crazy. But anyways, I want to talk about something he said today. You can look that other story up yourself. Maybe I'll talk about it another time, but that's not the point of today's talk. Before I get too far into this, let me just say, quick weather report here. It's 46 degrees out. The sun is shining. It's beautiful out here. You couldn't ask for more. It's February. A little snow on the ground, but for the most part, it's a beautiful day. And I feel blessed, man, to be out here walking around. Not everybody's able to walk around. So, not everybody's able to walk around. And, I think a lot of times we lose sight of the things we have. Which kind of brings me to what I want to talk to you guys about today. Theodore Roosevelt said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And, that seems pretty straightforward about what he meant by that, but maybe not, A lot of things I think seem fairly straightforward. Other people don't think it's straightforward, and other people still translate it a different way. They get a different meaning from it. So I'll give you what I believe about that statement, and then I'll tell you how it fits in with another thing you see people doing quite a bit, which is modeling. A lot of people do modeling in the internet marketing space, and I don't mean jumping on a runway and flashing your booty. It's not what I'm talking about. I think you guys know what I mean. Modeling, just kind of like looking at what other successful marketers are doing, trying to do the same thing, Maybe not copying them word for word or move for move, but moving in a very similar way, modeling, trying to model success. So we'll talk about some of the differences here between modeling other people and comparing yourself to other people. Because it's easy to do when you are trying to model after other people. It's easy to compare yourself to them. So first, what did Roosevelt mean when he said, "Comparison is the thief of joy"? Like, what I believe, how I took it, was that you will never be satisfied with anything that you do as long as you are comparing yourself to others. Whether that comparison makes you feel superior or that comparison makes you feel inferior. But I'll tell you, what I've noticed is that most times when we compare ourselves to other people, we're not comparing ourselves to people who we perceive to be less than us or at a worse place in life than us. We don't compare ourselves to the homeless guy down the street. We always inevitably compare ourselves to people who are doing better than us or what we perceive to be doing better than us. As soon as we perceive them to not be doing better than us, we stop comparing ourselves to them. It's like a subconscious thing. So if you're constantly comparing yourself to people who are doing better than you, or people you perceive to be doing better than you, you're always going to feel less. You're always going to feel inferior. You're always going to feel like it's not enough. You're not doing good enough. Now, there are some positives to feeling like you could do better, you know? There's some positives to feeling like you aren't doing good enough for your own standards. There's positives to that. There's positives to trying to be doing better and pushing yourself. But there are no positives in comparing yourself to an idea of someone who you will never become as good at. And the reason why is because the person you're comparing yourself to is not really a person. It's an idea of a person. It's not the person themselves. Generally, the people you're comparing yourselves to, you don't know them. You don't know them. You just have an idea of them. The idea that they put out there. So you think that's success. So you start trying to model after that person or those people. And then what happens? Well, if you're not careful, your simple modeling as a way of practicality becomes comparing. Which is not good. And like Roosevelt said, it's the thief of joy. You'll be miserable. You'll never be satisfied. I'm not saying it's always a negative thing to not be satisfied. Personally, I'm very rarely satisfied with anything that I do. I look at it objectively, and I weigh the pros and cons of it. And I always think like, what went well, what did not go well, what I'd like to do a little different on the next one. But kind of swinging back to the point about comparison being the thief of joy, the fact of the matter is, you have to learn from somebody, right? If you don't know what you're doing, you got to learn from somebody. So, you pick a handful of people that you choose to learn from. And that's good. Learn from them. But recognize the fact that you are not them, they are not you. What success will be for you is going to be a little different than what it is for them. As far as trying to, study the way they do things, the tactics, the principles, the ideologies that they focus on, cool, nothing wrong with that. But just understand they are not you and you are not them. So what that means is everything they do, you have to filter that through your own personality, your own process. You have to try to figure out how that makes sense for your world, so to speak. For example, I follow this one marketer who says that sorry guys, I lost my train of thought. I follow this one marketer who says that TikTok is where it's at right now. And the way that they use TikTok is very interesting. It's very impressive. And I could see where that makes sense for a lot of people. You know, take a platform that's kind of hot, a lot of people getting a lot of attention, using it in a certain way, and it works. It's a cool little tactic or whatever. But for me, like, I don't like TikTok. I don't use TikTok. It's not for me. So I can look at a tactic like that and I can think, is there something in there that they're doing that makes sense in my world, in my kingdom, in my world of business, what I do? And, you know, I have to quantify that. And that's the same, not just for a simple tactic like that, but that's the same for ideologies, that's the same for principles, that's the same for methods, everything. There's no one size fits all. Everybody's going to be a little different. So, again, swinging back to comparison is the thief of joy. If you can't recognize that what you're doing is going to be different than whoever you're trying to model after, then you're never going to be happy with what you're doing. And that's different than not being satisfied with a result that you got, because you always want to be getting a little better, right? In my opinion, you can be happy with the result you got, but still have that little bit of not being satisfied. Like, you want it to be a little bit better. You have the imagination to see where it could have been better. And that's what I mean by that. So, anyways, it's kind of where I'm at with it on comparison is the thief of joy. It's really a great wisdom from one of my favorite people of all time. And yeah, man, just hope that helps you today. If you resonate with any of the stuff I'm saying here, make sure you get over to epicconversions.com, sign up for my free newsletter. That being said, good luck out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.